This is E-News Primetime. A very good evening. It's been a hectic day for coastal rescue services. Thousands of holidaymakers have headed to the beach for the first day of the new year, and many ignored calls to play it safe. We start our coverage in Durban.
Durban's lifesavers are swamped by holidaymakers. Nearly 100,000 piled onto this beach on New Year's Day. And it would have been far, far more but for the poor weather. Keeping an eye on them, 110 lifeguards. That's 30 or so more than usual on duty for this stretch of beachfront. But it's still a huge mission, particularly when many insist on making it difficult for the people who are there to protect them.
The big problem that makes it difficult to deal with crowds is drinking and unruly behavior on the beaches. But with having fewer people, that's become a lot easier this year.
The province is doing well so far this festive season, just 6 drownings since September. But authorities are again begging beachgoers to follow the rules and stay out of harm's way.
Drownings are down thanks to bad weather and the heroic efforts of lifesavers. But the deaths that have occurred at unprotected beaches have frustrated the lifesavers' efforts. Morgan Collins, E-News, Durban.
I'm Scheherazade Safla reporting from Cape Town. We're here on Monwabisi Beach. Thousands have flocked for their place in the sun. Monwabisi is notorious for shootings during the festive season and drownings throughout the year. The 10 lifesavers on duty here have had their hands full with a crowd of over 4,000 people. They saved these 7 swimmers from a near drowning. A few kilometers away in Simonstown, a 15-year-old boy also almost drowned. He's been airlifted to hospital where he's in a serious but stable condition. Safety's been stepped up with more than 354 lifesavers deployed to swimming pools and beaches around Cape Town.
There's also management of the cities on a full readiness and state of alert for Cape Town, in particular for our 72 beaches all along our coastline. We've increased our capacity in terms of Metro Police and in conjunction with the SAPS and with safety on the beaches.
Another packed beach was at Camps Bay.
It took a bit of time getting down here, but it's definitely worth it to be here.
Actually, I don't mind all the people because all the people they've come here to enjoy themselves.
Just to enjoy myself and my family. God, it's a New Year's Day.
Authorities have adopted a zero tolerance to alcohol on beaches, even though some holidaymakers chose to ignore the warnings.
Thousands of South Africans have spent the day recovering from the final night of 2006. Most New Year's Eve revelers behaved themselves, but police and medics still had their hands full.
It's New Year's Eve. But they're not here to crash the party, they're here to close it down. This raid on an alleged illegal shebeen is just one call-out. On a busy night for police trying to keep the peace on what's traditionally Hillbrow's most lawless night of the year. Patrolling the streets of Johannesburg is no easy feat for those working around the clock this New Year's. They've had to respond to every call and complaint like this one in the fastest time possible. This man never got to see 2007. He allegedly had drugs in his possession, and police say fell to his death from this bridge where he tried to run away. Among the other call-outs, domestic squabbles, robbery charges and attempted murder. For some, it was a New Year's Eve behind bars. For others, a New Year's Eve in casualty. But for most in Hillbrow, it was a New Year's Eve to celebrate the end of 2006 and a relatively peaceful night. A monster fireworks display in Cape Town herald the New Year's arrival. And thousands flocked to the waterfront to catch the best of the display, while bad weather forced many indoors in Durban. Belinda Moses, E-News.
So what should we expect in 2007? Here are some of the key points facing the country in the year that lies ahead.
This is the year we will know who the next presidential candidate will be. No word yet from the president himself, but the ANC will hold a crucial conference in Limpopo later in the year, where the party will have to pick a successor to Thabo Mbeki. The allies of SECT Deputy President Jacob Zuma have made it clear they want him to take charge, although his brushes with the law may ruin his chances. Despite the denials, businessmen Tokyo Sexwale and Cyril Ramaphosa aren't being ruled out of making political comebacks. There will also be a change in leadership for the Democratic Alliance, but just like the ANC, no front-runner has emerged. 2007 should be a busy year for the judiciary. The Scorpions have given indications they may recharge Jacob Zuma with corruption linked to the arms deal. And while he may be on his way back to court, disgraced ANC Chief Whip Tony Yengeni will be swapping his present cell for the comfort of his home this year. 2007 will also see the murder mystery around businessman Brad Keble unravel in court. Former associate Glenn Aliotti has been arrested for his murder, but has hinted he may have helped Keble commit suicide. And more light could be shed on Aliotti's links to National Police Commissioner Jackie Selebi. On the international stage, South Africa will have a major role to play as we assume a temporary seat on the United Nations Security Council. And 2007 will be a year you may want to avoid attracting further debt. Analysts say another interest rate hike is in order, although the rand should remain stable. Macintosh Nzimande, E-News, Johannesburg.
Sports fans can look forward to a jam-packed calendar this year. In little more than 60 days from now, the world's best teams will lock horns in the Caribbean for the Cricket World Cup. Defending champions Australia are the favourites, but the Proteas, who are second in the world ODI rankings, will also be a force to be reckoned with. The Springboks will also be hoping for a turn of fortunes as they prepare for their Rugby World Cup campaign in France in September. The Boks are 4th in the IRB World Rankings. But is coach Jake White the man to lead the boys in green and gold to World Cup silverware? South Africa will also have to pull up its soccer socks if it hopes to successfully host the 2010 World Cup. With stadia upgrading yet to begin and the stalling around Greenpoint's rezoning to accommodate a 68,000-seater stadium, SA 2010 Local Organising Committee Chairman Irvin Khoza has set a January 2007 deadline for work to begin on all stadiums across the country.
When E-News Primetime continues, revealed for the first time Saddam's final taunts just moments before his death.